Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Henry, and this is Conservative Commentary. Well, good news just keeps pouring in the polls for the Trump campaign. But before we discuss the polls, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This really helps us grow the channel and get the message out. Also, please go to youtube.com/@KennethJHenry and check out our other videos. The CNBC poll just released shows Donald Trump with a narrow lead in the national popular vote. Of course, the popular vote doesn't determine the winner of the election, but it is a good harbinger for a Republican presidential candidate if he's close to even in the popular vote, and if leading, it's even better. The CNBC poll also showed Trump with a lead in the 7 battleground states, but that lead is razor thin, and all the results are within the margin of error, meaning that the actual result could be plus or minus about 3 points. This explains why the Democrats are in attack mode. I find it incredulous that Kamala and her surrogates have now stooped to say that President Trump is in cognitive decline. Are you kidding? These are the same people who tried to hide Biden's decline like in the movie Weekend at Bernie's. Michelle Obama just spoke on behalf of Harris and accused Trump of being unstable and described him as a threat. Of course, there's the infamous fascist allegation as well. While the polls are good news for the Trump campaign, it's no time to let up. In fact, because of the thin margins, it's time to press forward. Vote early if you can, and encourage others to do so. Offer a neighbor a ride to the polls if they need one. Do everything you can to ensure that Harris fades into the dark night of political obscurity. Take a look at the following clip and please share your thoughts in the comments.
3 polls, 1 conclusion. Just 12 days out, the presidential election is dead even, nationally and in every one of the 7 battleground states. CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, and Bloomberg all out with polls. Bloomberg describing the race as scrapping for every undecided voter. The Journal describes an advertising war that's aiming to shape the images of the candidates. Exactly what we're hearing from the candidates themselves.
I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to serve.
Kamala Harris can't say one thing that you do differently. You saw that? What would you do differently? I can't think of anything. This is the worst president in the history of our country and the worst vice president in the history of our country.
And our new CNBC survey shows a divide along racial, gender, economic, and educational lines, with movement underneath the surface that appears to show some important gains for former President Trump nationally. NBC's Steve Kornacki joins us from the big board. Of course, it's not a national poll that decides who becomes president, but tell us what the big takeaways are from this new survey.
Yeah, I mean, a couple, Chris, as you say, nationally, this is what the CNBC poll finds. Trump 48-46 over Harris. There is a breakout here just of the 7 core battleground states. It's not quite as extensive a pool of voters, so the margin of error for just the battleground states, it's a little bit higher. But what the 7 battleground state result shows is Trump at 48% across those 7 states, Harris at 47% across those states. Now, obviously, they don't vote as a block. They vote individually. So just give you a sense, though, in the battlegrounds, a result that looks like the national result here, although even a point closer. So, a notable finding that way. I think the bigger picture story, this was suggested as well in our own NBC poll recently. In the CNBC poll, it asks about the basic perception of the 2 candidates here. Do you have a positive or negative feeling toward Trump, toward Harris? And you can see right here, neither one of them has a greater positive than negative. They're both not that popular. But Trump, you can see the gap here, 42 positive, 6 negative. He is 6 points underwater on this question. Harris, 39 positive, 49 negative. She's 10 points negative on this question. And the significance here is the trajectory of the Harris campaign on this sort of feelings thermometer. When she first got in the race, when she first entered, she was, basically in the same ballpark as Trump on positive, negative. after about 6 weeks as a candidate, she had actually in our poll moved above water on this question. A couple weeks ago, we were polling this and she had a higher positive than negative, and she had established an advantage. But now our own NBC poll a couple weeks ago and now this CNBC poll both find that advantage she seemed to have established here, say back in September on this question is gone. And she's back in that underwater territory with Trump again. And again, you take that and you look at the national result of Trump ahead by 2. These things are there's probably a linkage between these things, Chris.
Steve Kornacki, it's always great to have you there at the big board. Thank you so much.